Hello everyone, it's Elliot here, and I have something very special for you today. I'm going to be reviewing a Blu-ray release of a Korean film called The Concubine, which has been released in the US in this fantastic media book edition. I mean, just have a look at this. So I'm going to get into what's in this package, what the film is about, and hopefully, if you haven't had this on your radar before this video, it should be on your radar after hearing what I have to say about it. So fingers crossed that you like what you see and hear. The Concubine is a film set during the Joseon dynasty in Korea. So this is a historical period picture film. And there's so much going on in the story because you have romance, political intrigue, backstabbing, violence, all that good stuff. And it's all done to a great degree in this film. You have Cho Yo-jung, who is very famous for being in the film Parasite from Bong Joon-ho. In this film, she is playing this young girl who is ordered to go to the royal palace to become the concubine of the king. However, she is already in love with someone else, and in order to save his life, she agrees to go to the palace and become this concubine for years and years. After the initial setup, the story then moves forward where she is the mother of the heir to the throne. And there's so much political intrigue and vying for the throne, a lot of backstabbing, like I mentioned. And I won't go much more into the plot because there's a lot of twists and turns in this. In terms of story and themes, it's something that kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones in that Machiavellian political intrigue backstabbing kind of thing. Not that there's dragons in this, it isn't a fantasy picture, but there is that element of people vying for the throne, and I think it's kind of a good comparison in terms of how the stories play out. So now I'll just tell you a bit about Capelight Pictures. They are a Berlin-based film distribution company, and they are very well known in Germany for releasing films theatrically and on Blu-ray, particularly these media book releases. And they have released films like the aforementioned Parasite, Free Solo, and many classics like Rollerball, Old Boy, and Running Man. In 2019, Capelight Pictures started releasing foreign films in the USA with their partner MPI Media. So it's with this release of The Concubine that Capelight begins to offer their high-end media books to the US market. And high-end it is because just look at this. It has such a nice finish, and on the back here as well, just a stunning release if you're looking at it purely in terms of visual appearance on the shelf. It looks so nice indeed. Inside you get the Blu-ray disc, and at the very back there is also a DVD, so it's a dual format release. And in the middle there are these pages which are very well illustrated and written, and they have different character profiles and actor profiles, and there's a profile on the director as well. So there's a lot of great information in the middle of this media book. One thing to note in terms of the dimensions of the media book, it is a DVD case dimension. So unfortunately, in terms of my shelving setup that I've got here, my shelves will only fit a Blu-ray case perfectly. So I'm going to have to find somewhere else to put The Concubine on a shelf. But that's just something to note for the collectors out there. In terms of the picture quality and audio quality of the presentation on the Blu-ray disc, I had no issues at all. I think it looked great and it sounded great. So in terms of audio and visual fidelity, you should have no worries in picking up this release. Oh, and if you do want to buy this Blu-ray, I'll include some purchasing links down in the description so you can check those out if you want to buy. This is a film that I think I will come back to again and again because there is so much packed into that 2-hour running time. It even feels at times like something that could have been a long-running TV series or even a mini-series. But I think back when it was made in 2012, perhaps that wasn't a very popular format as it is now 10 years later. Some people might say it's to its detriment that there's just too much in there, but I like that when there's a lot going on and there's never a slow moment in this film. If I was to offer up one criticism of The Concubine, and this is just a personal criticism by the way, you may well disagree, but when I'm watching a historical period set drama, I like a film to be evocative of the time period. Now, the costume design and set design in this film is of a very high level indeed. I think they look great, but it's with the cinematography and the way the film is shot. It has a very modern feel to it. The way the actors are lit, there's this very soft LED looking way of lighting that kind of just takes me out of the story. This is because when I think of that period, I don't think of people being lit in this fashion and the colour grade looking as it is. I like a bit of dirt, a bit of grit. Obviously, I would love if something like this was shot on film and not shot digitally, but obviously that is a cost thing these days. So that is just a nitpick from me. It doesn't affect the story or the way it is told. It's just something I like out of a historical piece. I like to really feel like it was shot during the time, and just certain elements kind of bring me out of that. With all of that said, I think this is a great media book release and a very enjoyable film to watch. I should note that there aren't any special features on the discs beyond a trailer, but you do get those character and actor profiles in the middle of the media book. And I think most people will be going for this for the overall packaging presentation because it is exemplary. I've never seen such a beautiful release as this, so I think a lot of people are going to be very happy. So that has been my review of The Concubine, released by Capelight Pictures on this brilliant media book release. Do let me know in the comment section if this is something that you're thinking of picking up, if you're a particular fan of South Korean cinema. You know, this might be your kind of thing, and I hope I've at least introduced a few more people to this film and this release. I'll be back very soon with some more reviews, including some more releases from Capelight Pictures, so do stick around for them and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, stay well and keep watching great films.